breeze. Oh. Peekaboo. I never said I was pretty, did I? Welcome once again to the Norfolk Broads. The Angles Way, to be more specific. Tonight I'm going to be testing a new shelter at a new secret location. All being well, another glorious night on the Norfolk Broads. I do love this walk. It's a bit of a mixture of woods and open broads, and of course the meandering River Waverley, which is at the heart of the Angles Way, if you follow the historic path, that is. The weather is pretty much idyllic for tonight and tomorrow. Still a chance for the odd frost though, so hence the heavy pack. I know I mentioned Norfolk Broads, but this is really an East Anglian walk. And tonight, rather shockingly, I'm going to be camping in Suffolk. Whoa, there's an R186. Ha! A little over-enthusiastic, I agree. But with our lack of trig points, windmills have to do. And there's plenty of them along the Angles Way. Never heard of the Angles Way? Shame on you. Closely following the River Waverley, the Angles Way traces along the Norfolk and Suffolk border from Great Yarmouth to Thetford. Once you cover the short distance from Great Yarmouth Station to Braden Bridge, the trail quickly opens up to Braden Water and an explosion of natural habitat and rich history. Wind pumps dominate the landscape in every direction. Legacy to Norfolk's continued fight against the sea. Picturesque views and an innate wildness. There's a remoteness to this walk, a melancholic beauty in the landscape, and with magnificent skies that inspired great artists such as Turner, there are some unique and inspiring places to camp. And if you're lucky, maybe even a sunset or a sunrise. In part one of the video, I'm going to be walking from Great Yarmouth to Somerleyton, all in about 15 miles. For a predominantly river walk, the Angles Way needlessly lures you away from the River Waverley at times, like here at Belton Marshes. Nothing against Belton, I grew up there, but my advice would be, for the scenic route, I'd follow the river. Oh man, I forgot about this place. I used to play here as a child. I used to get drunk and lots of other things here as a teenager. The freedom we had, I wouldn't change those days for the world. After 6 miles, I think I deserve a rest, and this is a great little spot for a picnic and some much needed boot admin. These boots are trashed. They're only 5 months old. My feet are soaked, and the boots are falling apart. Can you remember that white glue they used to give you at preschool? Well, that's what Salomon now uses to stick their boots together. Or that's how it seems to me. Next up, Fritton Woods, and then a slight detour off the Angles Way. Mechanic! "18 ducklings, in case you're wondering, and some absolutely gorgeous painted ponies, most of them in foal. For a disused part of the trail, this is certainly well maintained and trod. I'm making superb time. What was I saying about it being easy going? Now approaching Fritton Woods, or Waverley Forest as it's now known, apparently under new, not so tolerant owners. Maybe that's why the Angles Way is now revised and goes through Belton. One last glimpse of the River Waverley. Hopefully we'll rejoin it again tomorrow morning at Somerleyton. Heading off the trail now towards Lound. I promise you it's worth the extra mile or two. This place is vast. Unfortunately, my time isn't. I'll be back. Whilst out walking the Broads, you'll see loads of these piles of wood. Well, as inviting as they are, don't use them for firewood. They're actually habitat. To be honest, you're probably better off avoiding fires altogether. A lot of the honey spots in Norfolk, especially on the Broads, are areas of special scientific interest. So if you light a fire, you've turned a civil offence into a criminal one. Don't get me wrong, I'm not anti-fire, but say I posted content of fires on Dartmoor, you'd all be up in arms about it. So what's different with the Broads? Anyway, coming to the end of the Broad section, and then on to my favourite part, the woods. But first of all, I'm going to take a look at this rather quaint old church. Here lies the body of Mary McGee. She lived to the age of 103. For 15 years she kept her virginity. Not a bad record for this vicinity. Don't you just love old graveyards? And as fate would have it, I have a relative in this one. So it'd be rude of me not to pay a visit. There's signs of a heavy deer presence in these woods. And of course, where there's deer, there's ticks. And being this is Norfolk, where there's ticks, there may be limes. You'll never guess what I've spotted up ahead. Yep, definitely a Royal Observer Corps bunker. Excuse the echo. Sexes. I won't stay too long. My wife would have an absolute fit if she knew I was coming down and doing silly things like this. The old toilet. Nothing left of the door closing mechanism. These were used to record nuclear blasts. Had it like a two-man crew, usually women actually. One slept and one observed all the instruments. Whoa. Big spider. Right. That's freaked me out enough. Probably not the best of ideas doing that alone. Here's something even more interesting in Norfolk, a hill. You won't find this route on any map. I love these lonely, less trodden paths. They're very close to the memories I hold of Norfolk as a child. They're as familiar to me as my own home, and they should be. I've been walking them for nearly half a century. There's a few more bugs around than I anticipated, but welcome to camp. This is a great little spot for the shelter. As I mentioned, tons of bugs about, but I bought something to deal with those. This is the Tiny Rappel by Flextail Gear. They're the innovative company that bought you the tiny pump, blah, 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 blah. Forget all that crap and come and take a look at this. Absolutely stunning woodlands. Let's check out that new shelter, shall we? It's called Sex Panther by Odeon. Guaranteed to work 60% of the time, all of the time. Not really. It's the Nightcat Hammock tent. This is a very rare example on YouTube, as it was paid for by myself. Not the easiest of hammocks to put up, but very comfortable and a great concept if you disregard the branding, that is. Check this new table out by Soto. Are you not entertained? Lush. The absolute last of the Rosie's Pig rhubarb cider. Out with the old, in with the new.
What's that strange shiny thing? Oh no, it's the Flextail Gear Tiny Rappel. We're doomed!
Have to say, I do not recommend this hammock. The zips are absolute. Time for me to turn in. I have an early train to catch in the morning. Bring you back then. That's my retina's burnt out once again. Time for some breakfast. Good morning. Slept like an absolute. There's a huge, water buffalo just staring right at me. Oh, my ovaries! It wasn't its fault. Ain't YouTube a funny place? Similarities to persons either living or dead is purely coincidental. Good morning. Forgive me being out of breath. I'm in a rush to catch the 8 o'clock train. Hope you took my little pastiche in the good-natured humour it was intended. Joking aside though, there aren't any animals in the UK that are going to eat you, but there are plenty that will bite, sting or trample. Water buffaloes for one. I took a few precautions last night, initially against the deer, and built this rudimentary stockade. Came in handy this morning against the water buffalo. I can't recommend that hammock. For 136 quid, it's pretty poor. The zips are just pants. Oh. Now approaching Somerleyton railway station, and this is where our journey ends. You all stay safe, and I'll see you on the next one.